So the liberal alt-left media is in meltdown mode because Donald Trump put them on notice that he's not going to take their BS anymore. Yesterday, a prime example. Take a look.
It's all fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't happen. And it was gotten by opponents of ours, as you know, because you reported it and so did many of the other people. It was a group of opponents that got together, sick people, and they put that crap together. I think it's a disgrace. That information that was false and fake and never happened got released to the public. As far as BuzzFeed, which is a failing pile of garbage, writing it, I think they're going to suffer the consequences. They already are.
So the media, they're pretending to be shocked that the president-elect slammed BuzzFeed over publishing an unconfirmed, completely unfounded political op research file on President-elect Trump. But here's what the corrupt media will not tell you, for example, about them. Now, it's nothing more, BuzzFeed, but a political propaganda arm of the Democratic Party. And here's why. In June, the website terminated an advertising deal with the RNC because, as their CEO said in part in a statement, quote, the Trump campaign is directly opposed to the freedoms of our employees in the United States and the world. Now, 2 days after BuzzFeed terminated the RNC deal, their chairman, Kenneth Lear, hosted a $33,000 a ticket DNC fundraiser in New York City that President Barack Obama attended. Not to mention that Lear has a very long history of donating to Democrats. Now, since 2004, he's contributed almost $500,000 to Democrats, including $2,700 to Hillary Clinton in 2016. Is that fair and balanced? I don't think so. So it should be no surprise that BuzzFeed and CNN and all these other people, in the case of BuzzFeed, the editor-in-chief, Ben Smith, are standing by the decision to publish what amounts to fake news, all in an attempt to smear the president-elect Donald Trump. Take a look.
I know this was not your intent. I've known you a long time. But you just published fake news.
We just published a dossier. No, I think that's a really...
Why is that not a fair, why is that an unfair description?
I think people love to throw the term fake news around to diminish anything they don't like. But I think this was a real story about a real document that was really being passed around.
All right, also in that interview, Chuck Todd mentioned that NBC Universal has direct ties to BuzzFeed, even though he said their news divisions are, quote, separate. Now, according to Bloomberg, over the past 2 years, NBC Universal, they have made $400 million worth of investments in BuzzFeed. And companies, of course, have deepened their advertising and content ties. So what we're dealing with here is a giant media corrupt swamp. And they're all interconnected. It all works together, almost in unison, to advance their leftist agenda. Also tonight, the media is in a frenzy over this exchange that the president-elect had with CNN and Jim Acosta yesterday at the presser. Take a look.
Since you're attacking us, can you give us a question? Since you're... No, Mr. President-elect.
Go ahead.
Mr. President-elect, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization
You are attacking our news organization. Can you give us a chance to ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can you state...
Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
go ahead.
Can you state categorically...
She's asking a question. Don't
Mr. President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
You're attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you give us a question?
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically...
You are fake news.
So the liberal press is crying foul over that dust-up. Well, for years, they were totally silent when President Obama attacked me and Rush Limbaugh and Fox News all the time, for example, like when he made comments like these.
There's a reason fewer Republicans, you hear them running around about Obamacare. Because while good, affordable health care might seem like a fanged threat to the freedom of the American people on Fox News, it turns out it's working pretty well in the real world. And I haven't, turned on Fox News or listened to conservative talk radio yet today, but I've turned them on enough over these past 7.5 years to know I'm not exaggerating in terms of their story.
The problem is we got all these filters. And look, if I watched Fox News, I wouldn't vote for me either, right? Because, you've got this screen, this funhouse mirror through which people are receiving information.
All right, so those are just a few examples. You talk about a glaring double standard. You know how many times he hit me personally? It was 15 times until somebody said, stop talking about Hannity. His radio show intro gets longer and longer.